Comenzar, what do you think that means? Comenzar.
To commence.
To commence, or?
To start.
To start. Again, this exists and you can use it, and it's probably easier because it sounds like commence, so it's easier to remember. But there's another verb which is more common, which is empezar. Empezar. This is a Z, so that's going to sound th in Spain. Empezar in most of Spain. Empezar.
Empezar.
Practice with this one for now. This is to start. How do you say I start?
Empezo.
Good, that's what it should be, but what might happen?
Empiezo.
Empiezo. He starts.
Empiece.
What must you do before you make that decision? What must you do? You must go back to the to form. It's a very important habit.
It's empezar.
Ah,
Empeza.
good. And then what might be the next step after empeza?
Empieza.
Empieza. So this is the process we want to take. It's essential for us to get into that habit of going back to the to form, and then we know where we are. Otherwise, it's guesswork. Empieza. Empezar, empieza. They start?
Empiezan.
Empiezan. Good. You informal?
Empiezas.
Good. When are you starting?
¿Cuánto empiezas?
Cuando empiezas. Very good. So the E can split to IE. That's something we need to know about the present, and it's something we need to be on top of. Now, it's in the present that this happens because, as we know, one of the fundamental elements of the present tense is to have that accent on the penultimate syllable. So it's having the accent on the penultimate syllable that makes that E vulnerable to splitting. The E might split to IE, or the O might split to UE. We know this already, actually, because we have puedo, and this is a split O. To be able, or to can, of course there is no to can in English, to be able, we say, is poder. Here actually you can see closer that connection with power. Before I said that the word is related to the word power in English. El poder, el is the masculine the, we also saw it's the word for he. It's also the word for the for masculine words. El poder is the power. So here it's a noun. It looks like a verb, but if it has the in front of it, we know it's a noun. El poder, the power. Poder, to be able. When you take off your ending and you change it for present tense and you stress that O, it splits into UE and you get puedo. Again, we can see the same phenomenon happening between words in English and Spanish. So, for example, we have the word port in English, but we say Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico means the rich port. Rico means rich or nice or tasty or sweet. So port becomes puerto. We see the O is splitting into UE. We have the word force in English. In Spanish this is fuerza. We have the word school. In Spanish this is escuela. We have corp in like corporate, which means body. If corp means body in corporate, how do you think it is in Spanish?
Cuerpo.
Cuerpo. Good. We have innovative, and this nov in innovative means new. When you do something innovative, you do something new. And the word for new in Spanish is nuevo. So you saw the O splitting there. You might have heard pueblo before. Pueblo means a village or a people. Population in Spanish is one of these exceptions. It's not populación, it's población. Población. You can see the connection between población, and pueblo, which means village or people, a people. You can see the O in pob splitting to UE in pueblo. Mortgage, by the way, actually means death pact. You have mort, which is the Latin root for death, engage, which means pact. And the word for dead in Spanish is, have a guess.
Muerto or muerte.
Well, actually, here, one, you have the noun, la muerte, is the death. So the noun is the word you put the in front of. At school, they tell you that it's the thing, the object, but this is not an object. We would think of it, we put the in front of it, it's a noun, la muerte. But then the adjective, which is describing, is muerto or muerta, or muertos or muertas. So you can see in those words, between English and Spanish, this phenomenon of this O splitting into UE when it takes the stress. So this is useful for us for present tense. We need to know this for present tense. Because if we have a verb like dormir, For example, it has an O in the root. When we stress it, it might split. What do you think dormir means?
Staying still or dormant?
Yeah, what does dormant mean? A dormant volcano. It actually means it's a sleeping volcano.
Yes.
Oh, dormitory.
Yes.
This is a nice connection to make as well. So dormir means to sleep. How do you say I sleep?
Duermo.
Duermo. Good. In Spanish, if you want to say I fall asleep, you can say I sleep myself. So how would that sound?
Me duermo.
Me duermo, which means I fall asleep, rather than duermo, I sleep. So you can say I'm falling asleep, me duermo. It's so boring, me duermo. He sleeps?
Duerme.
Duerme. Good. They sleep?
Duermen.
Duermen. What do you think encontrar means? Encontrar.
To encounter.
Good. Which probably means...
To meet.
Oh, it does. It means that as well. But there's a more usual meaning as well.
To find?
Yes. So I'm finding it, or I find it. How would you say that?
Lo. Ah. Is it encuentro?
Yes, it is.
Lo encuentro.
Good. Something useful to bear in mind is that different versions of the verb, either the to form or some other version, might be the noun. So you mustn't assume always that it's a verb. If you see un encuentro, an encounter, this is now a noun. An encounter. Whatever we can put a or the in front of is noun. So many times some version of the verb will be the noun. Un encuentro is an encounter, but encuentro, I encounter. Demostrar was to demonstrate, and if we get rid of this de, we get mostrar, which means to show. Mostrar. So how would you say I show?
Mostro.
It would be mostro.
Muestro.
Muestro. Good. He shows.
Muestre. Wait. Mostrar. Muestra.
Good. Muestra. We don't need to roll the R here because it's just one R. Muestra. Good. And una muestra actually is a sample. So there is a noun there that shares that version. Muestra, he shows, it shows, she shows, you form will show. But una muestra is a sample. They show.
Muestran.
Muestran. Good.